the fan base, as Andy had mentioned a little bit earlier there. So yeah, we're looking to this season. What success I think for Dundee this season is certainly just staying in the top league, isn't it? Anything other than that, I think is a real bonus for them. If they could get into the top six, that would be quite something special, although I can't see it the way the teams are shaping up, and the ones that are looking as though they're going to be part of that top six. For Stephen Presley, good first season, but a difficult task during the summer to put together a team to go into this new season.
Andy, if staying in the top division is the goal for Dundee, then Stephen Presley achieved that, maybe even surpassed it with an 8th place finish last season.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I think that's always the immediate remit for about 5 of our clubs in our top flight, because I think the 2 sides in Glasgow, 2 sides in Edinburgh and Aberdeen, you almost feel like every season should be aiming for that top 6, and there's almost 7 others fighting out for that last spot in top 6, but ultimately try to stay in the league. So I think Stephen Presley, as well as another few managers, have got a massive job in their hand trying to replace players that they've lost. Well, he was just talking about Luke Graham and Cometio quite often being that back two partnership. John McCracken was the number 1. I think everyone that watched Dundee last year was really excited about that front three and Yogi and Congi, even whether it was Simon Murray or Ashley Hill up top. And I think losing they two in the wide areas, I thought they were such a potent threat for them all season long. But it's about finding the next ones, and at this moment in time it is still fairly early on in Dundee's preparations for the top flight. But I was one that actually loved the Premier Sports Cup, because I've never been a fan of friendlies ever, and I always feel like even though it's the group stage and you're playing lower league opposition, it's competitive matches, you're still playing for 3 points and ultimately to try and qualify into the latter stages. So even though it's early in your preparation, you've not got a lot of minutes or sessions under your belt to start the season off. I always quite like getting into the competitive side really early.
I'll throw this out there, maybe this will be contentious, maybe not, but I would suggest, Willie and Andy, it's more difficult to win the League Cup or the Premier Sports Cup than it is to win the Scottish Cup.
I wonder why you're saying that.
Well, let's look at St Mirren last year.
There you go.
No, Willie, 8 games. You've got 8 games. St Mirren had to beat Kilmarnock, Hearts, Motherwell and Celtic in that cup run, which is a remarkable achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and lifting any trophy is a remarkable achievement. And at times, no, I'm agreeing with you. Absolutely agreeing with you. I'm not.
You
too
just
sure
said
about,
away you go.
Aye, I'm not too sure about the premise that you laid down, is that it's more difficult to win the League Cup than it is the Scottish Cup. And understand your thinking, David. Don't get me wrong. Understand your thinking, but you're then talking about quality. And I know you mentioned quality there to get through. That is maybe a rare occasion, and you applaud St Mirren for doing what they did, and they did it so well that we went out and took your manager away from you. Has that burst your balloon then?
No, not at all. But also, just to add to that mix, you have Celtic this year. It's Celtic, Hearts, Rangers, Hibs and Motherwell don't even enter the fray till the last 16. So I mean, it's obviously stacked in favour of the bigger clubs.
So would you not say it's easier for them to win it then?
Easier for who?
Motherwell, your Rangers, your Celtics.
No, it's easier for them to win it.
Yeah.
For teams,
they get
teams
that. Well, Dundee's a perfect example of how difficult it can be, because they didn't even get through the group stages last year, and that was with playing 3 low league oppositions out the 4 at that stage. So I think, given the point that I was mentioning earlier, that your squad's not really built yet for the season. You've probably played 1 or 2 closed doors friendlies, if that. You've maybe only had 3 weeks worth of training. So I think these early games are always quite dangerous. And even looking at the card today, there's a lot of games that on paper looks as if there's really strong favourites within it, but I can also see a couple of real upsets.
Well, there's only one Premiership team at home today.
Yeah,
that's a commentary game.
Yeah, and even look down at the Championship. I think Partick Thistle for me have got a lot of early business done, and I think a lot of signings on paper that I think look really, really strong. But on the other hand, I look at Neil Lennon-Dunfermline and the amount of players that they've lost from the tail end of last season going into now, and only really made, you would say, 3 first team players coming in, and probably lost about a dozen. And they've got East Kilbride away, who have went back-to-back champions, done it in really convincing fashion last year as well. So I look at Dunfermline's fixtures today and think it's a really difficult one. I'll also look at Arbroath, who finished 3rd in the Championship last year, going away to Spartans, who have had plenty of giant killings over the last 2-3 seasons as well. So I think there's a lot of games that look straightforward on paper, but I don't think they will be.
Hey Willie, I'll make this observation as well. Do you buy what a lot of managers say once they've lost this, that they still refer to it as pre-season?
No, I hate it, David. I really do. It irritates me. I mean, you're there as a St Mirren fan, and anybody
an objective voice.
An objective one, yeah. But you're there as a fan, aren't you? And you want what an achievement it is for any club to lift a major trophy, and this is one of the major trophies. So you know when this tournament is going to start, and if you're tagging it just as pre-season, then I think you're missing an opportunity. Now, I'm not suggesting that it's easy to, and we spoke about it, Dundee's case here, and all the changes that they've had to make. It's not easy for any manager to do that, but you know that the season has started. I don't think you can look upon this as totally pre-season. And as Andy said, it's competitive game you're in. The fans are coming here, they're paying good money, they're wanting your team to perform well, and they're hoping at the end of it that something magical might happen, and you've got an opportunity to play against the big guns once they come in and maybe actually lift the trophy. So it actually irritates me when managers, and I think less and less managers are talking about it being pre-season. I'm saying that, and I bet you both these managers speak about it being pre-season for them. And if that's the way they're looking at it, fair enough. But for me, I think they should be looking at it as an opportunity to win a cup, particularly Dundee. And any of the top teams that are involved in the competition, any of the ones that finish in the top tier and haven't had the bye that you were talking about, I think it's an opportunity for them to lift a trophy, and that's how they should be looking at it rather than just using it for pre-season. You understand that it can be like that at times, but at the same time, I think you've got to try and make it as much as possible that it's an important cup. It's a cup that the fans would love to see their team progress in. It's a cup that, as you know, your fans would love to see your team lifting the trophy.
So it's day one of the new Scottish football season, folks, and match day one in the Premier Sports Cup. Day three, however, at the Scottish Open Golf, that is in full swing. Mr. Brian McLaughlin is our reporter at the Renaissance course in East Lothian. He's been keeping us up to date every round so far. Let's call upon him, welcome him to the show. Brian, I believe it's a wee bit foggy there, is it cleared?